Now, this is an interesting, compelling, highly impressive film. Fulci's Don't Torture a Duckling. The older IMDb reviews go as such. Froggy. PHR. 23rd of March 1999, a gem of a movie. I saw this movie 5 times and never get tired of it. This features traces of the giallo genre, but also with a vivid Italian countryside setting where ignorance and superstition are deadlier than any serial killer, featuring excellent location, reminiscent sometimes of Fellini, sometimes of the Taviani brothers, good characterization, and some of the finest genre actors, including the great Thomas Malan and Ida Lupino in an unforgettable role. This is not Eurotrash, just a masterpiece that should be discovered generation after generation. It recently received great acclaim at the Paris Cinematheque at a double feature tribute to Lucio Fulci. Troy-11, the 10th of May 99, an emotionally shattering masterpiece. Italian director Lucio Fulci is a controversial figure, ever since attaining fame, or is that infamy, with his graphically violent zombie films, commencing with the stylish Zombie 2 1979. He has been known as the godfather of gore by adoring fans, yet the general public has dismissed him as a hack, whose only talent rested in his flair for filming gory set pieces. These critics have obviously never seen Non si sevizia un paperino. Released in 1972, this film proved to be unpopular in Italy owing to its anti-Catholic point of view, and there is some indication that the controversy surrounding the film spoiled Fulci's burgeoning career. The story is a simple one. A series of child murders in a rural Italian village attracts national attention. As the police attempt to locate the culprit, a reporter, Thomas Malan, seeks to beat them to the punch. The killer is eventually unmasked in a literally bone-crunching finale. Non si sevizia is a violent film. In spots it is also gory. Yet it is much more than a schlock horror film. It is an emotionally charged indictment of the hypocrisy of religion and a gripping thriller worthy of the best of Argento or Bava. It is also the single best film of its make of a sadly neglected Lucio Fulci. Fulci also recognized this film to be his best and comes highly recommended from the viewer. Here we go. Nippy-4. Nippy. 5th of October 1999. Fulci goes giallo. I imagine UK viewers know which sitcom the Nippy reference is from. I really enjoyed this film, although I have only had a chance to watch it once. It's a great giallo IMO and just as enjoyable as Fulci's later films. The direction was perhaps a bit rough around the edges, but on the whole I thought the film worked really well and the ending was great, a real cliffhanger. I thought one scene was particularly disturbing, where the locals beat the hell out of a poor woman while the radio played in the background. The inappropriate music made the images even harder to swallow, but also gave the scene an emotional punch, uncommon in a Fulci movie. I also thought that the story worked coherently and that the twist at the end was great. Fulci obviously has a rather low opinion of rural Italy's inhabitants, because in this film all the villagers are presented as simpletons, prone to mass hysteria, who live by their own backward laws, illustrated by the remorseless killing of the women and religious beliefs. Ibon 09, 11th of April 2000, Fulci's greatest achievement. It's an excellently made and mind-boggling film where violence in the movie is powerfully depicted. It's different from other giallos, because the murder victims in this case are 12-year-old boys. Don't Torture a Duckling 1972 is one of the director's most greatest and personal feature of his entire career. This was during his first successful period of filmmaking when gems, for instance, Una sul Altra, one on top of the other, 1969, Beatrice Sensi, 1969, Una Lucetola con la pelle de donna, A Woman in a Lizard's Skin, 1971, were being shown to the general public. Some previous tragedies of the life of the director played an important role in the structure of this motion picture. It's better than most giallos of that time and is something that should be watched more than once. Don't Torture a Duckling is a daring film that isn't scared of breaking a few taboos. The movie was controversial during its release due to the story's anti-Catholic angle. Because of this, Fulci's career may have hit a snag due to the possible disapproval of many people in the Italian film industry. It has an overwhelming sense of sadness that revolves over the lives of the main characters. Many critics of Fulci ignore this movie, as many are not willing to give credit where credit is due. For once in a Fulci film that is filled with heavy doses of violence and light drops of gore, it will leave an impression in the mind of the viewer of the aftermath of the film's conclusion. This should be watched by many aspiring horror filmmakers, as this would teach them a lot about the things that make a great horror film. Don't Torture a Duckling is a great way for an introduction to the art and cinema of Lucio Fulci. Don't Torture a Duckling 1972 have a couple of scenes that left an impression on me for many days after seeing the movie. The first is the chain whipping scene, which to me was an incredibly powerful and shocking act of violence. The second scene is the fate of the murderer at the end of the film. One thing this movie deals with are children's wonder and about the road to adulthood. The movie is filled with excellent photography and realistic makeup effects. It's a film that is filled with plenty of fresh and original ideas and concepts. Non si sevizia un Paperino actually translates to Don't Torture Donald Duck, as Paperino is the Italian word for Donald Duck. This might have been changed due to the possible outrage of Disney and its loyal fan base. It paints the rural community as hypocritical and not very bright. The main theme of the movie is the theme of pain and suffering, which plays a major role in most of Fulci's films. The acting is very good for a horror film. Florinda Balkan is the film's most sympathetic and tragic character for the entire story. Barbara Bouchet does an excellent job as a woman who is filled with boredom of her current life. Mark Perel's character is the most important character because he is a representation of the Catholic Church. Thomas Malan does a wonderful job in the role of the male protagonist. The direction is close to perfect. This is one of the few times where the abilities of Lucio Fulci were fully utilized. He presents a town that is under the tight grip of religion and superstition. The chain whipping scene represents his views on fascism and vigilantism. One common thread throughout his films is his open disapproval of the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is seen here by Fulci as hypocritical, perverted, and sick. The musical score adds to the nature of the film and its atmosphere. Many aspects of Don't Torture a Duckling would appear in later films like Pro nella città dei morti viventi, which is City of the Living Dead, 1980, amazing film that. Al di là, The Beyond, 1981, and Lo Scottatore di New York Ripper, 1982. That's a great film. We haven't discussed that yet on the channel. We will, of course, during this quasi-retrospective on Mr. Fulci. The view of the camera is both objective and subjective. The editing is smooth and professionally done. One motion picture that Non si Vizia un Paperino 1972 compares greatly with is the New York Ripper 1982. First, they both involve killers who are on a sick and twisted crusade for an idealized behavior. Second, one lingering theme that is present in these two films is one that revolves around sexuality. Third, the antagonists are ridiculed and are seen in an unsympathetic viewpoint. Finally, both die horrible and spectacular death. The two are perfect companions to each other. Another film that is comparable to this movie is Beatrice Cenci, 1969. 1. The two films are very critical about the system of the Catholic Church. 2. They both involve women who are unfairly murdered. I think most murders are considered unfair, actually. 3. The main themes of both films are hypocrisy, oppression, and repression. This movie will be coming to home video very soon, and this is good news. Indeed. 7 minutes in, we'll close it here. Thanks everyone, I appreciate it really immensely.